So how do people let their emotions take control of what's true, what's not true? How do we get out of this way that, oh my gosh, only one side's right and the other side's completely wrong? Why do you think that in today's world, because it's becoming so much more prevalent today, that we stop trusting the government, big corporations, doctors? Hey y'all, welcome back to the Paul Cobin Show. Today I'm here with Rhett Wacaser, the host of the Primal Chronicles. Rhett, you're a sophomore, civil engineering major here at Clemson. But the Primal Chronicles, you specifically talk about literally anything and everything. I think that's so cool. Today we're going to be talking about how emotions can twist the way people see truth. We're going to talk about how us picking sides is dividing us as a country more than it's helping us. And finally, we're going to talk about why people don't trust anyone anymore or anything. So, Rhett, welcome to the show again. I'd love for you just to tell us a little bit about yourself and about the Primal Chronicles.
Well, thank you, man. Happy to be on here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, of course.
Yeah. Well, the Primal Chronicles has just been a little side gig, I guess I do. And, you know, I've always loved movies since I was a kid and love film. And I also love, like, yapping. And so the two kind of coincided over the summer. And just created this nice little area and space where, you know, I think my like side habits and things I like to learn about and do outside of school or whatever type of job I'm doing in the time of my life. It's really been expressed well with the show, and I love getting to have people on, and I love hearing people say I made them laugh or I got to learn something new from the show, and it's really been just a blessing. I wasn't sure like how people would like it and if everyone would just hate it or if people would, you know, kind of just be shocked that it would be something they wouldn't expect. And so far it's been that.
That's awesome, man. I find a lot of like similarities in that. I didn't know if people like what the public reaction was going to be to starting one of these up, but what would you say your favorite topic is to dive into if you, or I know you dive into a lot, but what's one that you say you talk about a lot? Just kind of like, what's your favorite?
Yeah. Well, so it's kind of an oxymoron we do, but we always start off the episodes with football.
Okay.
Specifically college football. Shout out to Jones Champs, Parker Tisdale, Nate Martin.
Yep.
I mean, those guys have really helped fuel the show in that area because their expertise is honestly almost as good as mine. And so, I mean, when we talk about football, it's really funny because it's like, you know, we're talking about the government and how they simulate us into liking, like, you know, entertainment, right?
Yeah.
And football is clearly that. But we do that kind of like a way of, you know, Chick-fil-A saying eat more chicken. You know,
kind of like a hook to get people more interested, like an easier topic to start out with.
It's a very, very fun debrief, and I mean, it's probably one of the most fun things I ever do.
Dude, I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know me, I love football. It's one of the biggest things in my life. Just being able to work for the team is just an absolute blessing, and yeah, I cannot agree more. But I want to talk about our first topic, which is how people let emotions kind of control their truths. Mm-hmm. How do you see people do that in today's world? Or I mean, you've talked about this before. What do you mean, like, by saying this?
By saying this, I mean people letting emotions control their truths. So, y'all talk about the Bible like a lot, right?
Yeah, all the time.
I've seen bits and pieces. I haven't seen full episodes yet, so forgive me.
No, it's fine.
But basically, I mean, the Bible makes it very clear that in the end, it's going to be very hard to tell the truth, and I believe it's. Is it Acts 20? No, I think it's Matthew 24:24.
Okay.
Yeah. Or Mark 24:24. I get Matthew and Mark always confused. But anyways, it just says that the truth is really going to be hard to tell in the end times. And yes, we won't know when the exact moment that Jesus is going to come back. But there's going to be signs that he'll be knocking at the door soon. So it makes it very clear, and it says like, for there will be people that come and they will say they're going to false prophesize, and they'll even make I think it says the elected, meaning the Christians, it will even confuse some of them, and they'll think that this is the right thing when it's not. So the truth is going to be at the highest difficulty to attain pretty much from here on out. And so many sources make it really hard to tell what's true and what's not.
Yeah. So how do people let their emotions take control of what's true, what's not true? Obviously, it says in the Bible a lot. It says in the Bible that in the end times, I'm not saying we're in the end times, but in the end times, evil will be called good and good will be called evil. how do you see people's emotions playing into that when it comes to just anything in today's political world or just world as a whole?
Well, I'd say most people, especially, young people, we're the first generation. We're, give or take, I'd say we're the last generation to where you could not have had a phone until you were 14, and that had been totally normal.
Yeah.
That happened to me, and that was fine. Like I told every person I knew when I was 14 I didn't get a phone until now, and no one gave a crap.
Yeah.
And so now we're the last people to do that. Everyone else has access to things. You meet a girl or a guy, you want to get to know them better, search them up on social media, you get them. Yeah. So we're all about access. And what that does is it takes away our care to see things from outside of our point of view, and we just want to have that. So when we hear a story, for say the Charlie Kirk shooting, or something very unpleasing and distressful, Kobe Bryant dies in a helicopter crash, we try to automatically take that access of mind where we're always just getting what we want. We just try to basically paint a best picture. Like, we always try to look on the bright side of things.
Yeah.
Instead of just accept, like, no, that really happened, and there's even more to it. And usually if there's more to something, most people don't want to get into it.
Do you see that in the world of, like, the church? When we just say someone doesn't like a part of the Bible, they try and take it out. Do you see that happen a lot, especially with the people that you know and just the people that you see around the country and around the world?
Dude, I've been to like 6 states at most, but I can tell you I know it happens. Me personally, I don't. I'm not like a big traveler or anything like that, but I've seen some clips of the Righteous Gemstones and heard about the guy who's got like $1 million or so, that Texas dude, mega church.
Yeah.
Definitely. It definitely happens.
I feel like one of the things that like kind of happens a lot in like today's churches, we tend to try and twist scripture because we want to help people be like, oh, it's okay, Jesus is all about love and mercy, which is true, but it's okay. Jesus didn't care about this. If you do this, it's okay. That's not the case. Jesus is very clear, and the Bible is very clear on a lot of certain topics that these are unacceptable. I still love you, but these are unacceptable. And in order for you to turn to me, you have to flee from these sins. And for me, what I've seen from a lot of churches and a lot of Christians is, and I'm not saying it's just like, there's so many sins out there that you can point this to, whether it's alcohol, whether it's drugs, whether it's homosexuality, you name it. Like, it could be as simple as lying. Like, people are just saying any sin. It can be like, oh, it's okay, it's a pat on the back, you'll be fine, just try and do better next time, or you just keep on living the way you're going to live. As Christians, I see people as Christians who are Christians tend to fall into that trap. Do you think that's more from an emotional base, or do you think that's more so like they're just not knowledgeable about the Bible?
Well, it's the emotions that drive it first, which then make them not knowledgeable about the Bible. It's both. It's striped when you're a child. No child really and truly wants to go to church and sit there and listen for the most part. And the ones that do are just kind of doing it to feel good about themselves and pride. It's never like pure, just for the Lord initially, like before you're saved. That's usually what it is.
Like a cultural faith.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, emotions pretty much can decide who we're going to become. People are chasing comfort, as I said before, the access with the phone. That is comfort. We are in a time now more than ever where the emotional feeling of comfort is at an all-time high. And people don't realize that. And they're literally, I'm not trying to be craziness or start, have your first crazy person on the show, but I mean, it's almost like a drug. Yeah. Your phone. It's very similar symptoms.
So addictive. The dopamine. Yeah. It's science-based. The dopamine that gets released in your brain when you like just start scrolling on social media, it's crazy.
Whether you want to or not.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild. So what you're kind of saying is that because of the access that we have via social media, it really allows us to make our opinions based off emotions. Is that what you're kind of saying? Like it forces us like to see this thing. Like when I saw Kobe Bryant pass away, I was like, oh my gosh, I felt extremely like sad and upset. I was like, gosh, I mean, I loved Kobe Bryant.
Right.
And then, but I got to see that so easily, and it just seems that it becomes so much more accessible to the point where we can just have that flip on our emotions instantly. Do you think
Absolutely.
that it's made it a lot worse, our ability to think for ourselves when it comes to like just having logical, critical thinking, social media?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, to the counterpoint of that, sorry to cut you off. Like, people could say like, well, it spreads so much information that you can like really dive into. You can do deeper research. So that's like the counter argument. How would you go against that?
I mean, they're right. You can do a lot of good research, and there's a lot of good research from it. It's really nice how they have a lot of good stuff set up for you. However, it is, as a young man, we look at men more than women, I believe. Look at the first flashy thing we see, and we chase it, and then by the time we get there, we don't know that there was a hook on the end of that flashy thing, and then we bite ourselves in the mouth. We chase something that's just looks great and like it's going to be for our benefit, and then it comes back to hurt us. So I think the same way it can be applied to the truth. You think that, because I can't speak for women, I'm a man, and I really struggle with the truth myself, and I struggle with my own opinions and judgments, and I think that they're the truth, when really it's just a very, very, very small, limited lens in the whole world. So, I know greater men. I've already tried to, figure out the stuff I'm figuring out, and still haven't completely proven, or else we'd already know it.
Yeah. I mean, you just said you don't, like, greater men haven't figured it out yet. But if you were to give any idea on how we could fix the social media epidemic when it comes to just pushing out our emotions and giving us ideology, whether it's like Instagram's algorithms giving us one specific ideology or another, how do we fix that rather than just, throw all social media away? Or is it just throw all social media away?
Well, absolutely not. I think we come in a time where it's hard to even hear the news about social media. Yeah. It's hard to get connected to people about it. I think a big way how we can not let it control us and pretty much take over what we do. This is for the young generation. I think millennials they got a good hold on social media for the most part, and but whoever, it can affect anybody. But I'd say something we can all try to do is, because it's hard to use I was going to say, my instinct as a Christian, repent and believe in the gospel. But it's hard to always go to that when you're talking to the entire world, because my basis for the life and how things work is the Bible, but that's not everyone else's. Yeah. So you're trying to talk to people and communicate with morals and rules that they don't have to follow. Yeah. So as a whole, I really just would actually rather not people, like I don't want people to change. We all have free will. Yeah. I just want people to know that they have free will. And this online thing, like if you're okay with going on your phone and doing all that, and having your truth like if you only follow CNN or Fox, you're probably in a nursing home. No one watches CNN or Fox anymore unless you're like 70 years old or plus. Dude, like during 2016, they were completely two different stories, Trump versus Hillary. They were saying this and this, and the other saying that, and you're like, dude, like what? Like, no. So just know that when you follow and you're listening to those sources, or your mom and dad, for example, I don't like people that say, like I had a really good believer friend of mine tell me last week, hey, I lean left. And I was like, okay, cool. And he said, I have met many, all the I've met far more rude and selfish, mean Republicans than I have Democrats. All the Democrats I meet are the nice, super nice. And I'm like, dude, there is you're just going off the people you met in South Carolina.
Stereotypical. Yeah.
That's like really weird. Like, I'm not going to base an entire party by like the 10 or 20 people I've met. Yeah. I'm not going to let the people I've met affect.
It's a small sample size.
Yeah, exactly.
This kind of leads in perfectly to like the next topic I was kind of wanting to get into is, kind of the danger of picking a side.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a registered Republican. I'm conservative. I'm not afraid to be. I'm not afraid to voice that. But I do recognize that both left and right, we both have flaws. I'm not saying I'm perfect or you're perfect or that someone on the left's perfect. Like, we both have flaws.
Yeah.
What matters isn't like the team color that you support. It's if your ideals and opinions are grounded in truth and faith. For me, at least, that's the way I see it. So how do we kind of get rid of this tribal mindset that's, oh my gosh, if you agree with Donald Trump, you're so wrong. Or if you agree with Barack Obama, you're so wrong. How do we get out of this way that, oh my gosh, only one side's right and the other side's completely wrong?
Great question. Isn't that the question for America?
Yeah.
Well, kind of just comes to the whole point of why we read To Kill a Mockingbird in 8th grade was to understand that everyone's got their own story. Every character in that starts out as one thing, and then the book goes on and you learn, oh my gosh, they had a whole whatever, and they're actually really cool, or they really were a good person, just came off as a jerk type of deal. And so when you meet someone that says they love Trump or they love whatever, it's probably because they think it's what's best for their country. Hopefully, you know. And it's important, if you don't agree with them, I would just ask questions. Why? And then from that, to not think, oh my gosh, this guy's, clearly cray cray or whatever.
Yeah.
Or girl, whoever. The key is really to just listen.
Yeah.
I feel like a man is a real man when he just gets to listen and
slow to speak.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. What I do see though is, and I'm not saying one side's better at this than the other, I see it from both sides, is that, here, shoot, an example is a lot of people voted for Kamala Harris just because they hated Donald Trump.
Yeah.
How do we get out of that? Because I think that's completely stupid.
Yeah.
If you voted for Kamala or Donald Trump because you hated Kamala Harris, I think that's so stupid.
Right.
I think that you need to have a knowledge of why you're voting for who and know what their ideals are. Same thing with any bill that's passed. I think you should know before you judge the bill, either in a good way or a bad way, you should know, how is this affecting me and my family? How is this affecting my country? What is this doing in my day-to-day lives? People don't do that. People just say, oh my gosh, he's on the right side, he's wrong. Or he's on the left side, he's wrong. We don't find the common ground anymore. Do you think that we even have independence in this country anymore, or just people that aren't so polarized? Because it's hard to see that when it comes to things like social media. You only see the worst of both sides.
Right. The key really and truly is to understand that if my dad is Adolf Hitler, that does not mean it's okay to kill 6 million Jews and then 5 million Muslims and all the rest. Okay, so if your parents are Democrats, that does not give you an excuse to only side with everything they ever tell you.
Yeah.
If their parents are the biggest Republicans you ever met, that doesn't mean that doesn't give you a right. That's just mind control.
You got to form your own opinions.
Yeah. That's not being disrespectful to your parents at all. That's free will. That's being, your own person. And I think a lot of people just bank it on their mom and dad.
Really?
If their parents are good, and you think about it. Think about your grandpa or someone you love in your family. If you grew up with decent parents, you watch a movie with grandpa or your uncle that you love, this guy you look up to now. You watch a movie with him and you like it. For me, it was, I love a Marvel movie. I forget which one, but I watched one with him, and he watched some of them, and he didn't like that one, and it completely changed the way I saw it. And I said, why? And he just said, it's kind of the original idea, it was just this guy gets a power and that's it. And I actually agreed with him. Yeah. I was 13 years old at the time. I looked up to him. He was my superhero, and I completely changed my viewpoint of that movie.
Really?
Completely, literally. They say about 12 years old to 14 years old is really an age where boys look up to their dads a lot, and that was for me, definitely. And so I think people just really banking on whom they love. And I even mentioned to my dad, it's really funny. Can I name drop like other shows or whatever?
Yeah, you're
You
good.
can blurp it
You
out
can
if
do
you
it.
want.
No, you're fine.
Okay. Sean Dang Ryan, my man. He has Gavin Newsom on his show
Okay.
over the summer. That's the mayor of California. And it was really cool because Gavin Newsom is not usually aligned with Sean's beliefs. And he asked Gavin, well, how's your childhood? Type of deal. And Gavin just says, well, my dad was always actually never really around.
Yeah.
He was around sometimes, but he left a lot to take care of himself.
Yeah.
And then he says, your parents were separated. He's like, no, my dad would just leave, growing up about 6 months out of the year and, just mentally take care of himself. And he's like, did he have like some mental disorder? No, but he only wanted me to see his good side, so he just left. And he never really answers why his dad left. That's very strange.
Yeah, that's really weird. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, no, it was quite bizarre. I mean, no matter what party you are, you can admit that's interesting parenting strategy. And so then Sean says, well, why? And he's like, well, he was just a really good dad, and if he ever had a moment where he might not have been a perfect dad, he'd leave. And you just have this, like, this guy's really kind of strange, and he's normalizing this.
Yeah.
He's not just saying.
That's really, awful.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking from personal perspective, I don't have a father in my life actively. And for me, that just seems so weird, bizarre. I have father figures in my life, thankfully. But it was, to have someone that just leaves, that seems just a lack of trying, a lack of care, and a lack of accountability. Honestly, I mean, that's what it looks like to me. And I feel like, that's actually just crazy. I can't even fathom that. But how do we, so to your point, you were saying we form our political ideologies or any ideology, like you said, movies, for example, from what our loved ones, like our parents, our moms, our dads, grandparents, uncles, aunts, we form it from what they see, like who we look up to. Do you think that we're failing as a younger generation because we're not failing, but you think that we fail in this area as a younger generation of not forming our own ideologies or our own opinions on things?
I think as far as our work ethics considered, I think we're actually not doing half bad.
Yeah.
Dave Ramsey just talked yesterday or so and said that currently my best employees are Gen Zs because you guys have had a phone. Y'all are actually pretty good with working it, and y'all are really used to kind of working smarter usually. So we're actually usually
more efficient.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. I do agree with that. However, I do believe that it's so hard because I'm such a different person. But I'd say as far as most people I've met, I think a lot of Gen Z thinks it's not their purpose to learn. Like, it's like I don't get into politics. Like mentality. Oh, there's a lot of them. There's that.
Yeah.
Or you're really in left or right. There's not a lot of just kind of people really into it and not,
You don't think that there's any like moderates or independents or anything like that?
Oh, sure. There's 330 million people in this country. There's tons.
I mean, or just people. Or do you think that they are shunned out of the light per se? Like that they don't get the spotlight on them. They're not like that. They could be the average American, but they're not shown in the spotlight. It's either the super Trumpy or the super Democrat. Do you think that's kind of where we fall right now?
No, definitely not.
Okay. What do you think instead?
I mean, when does Gen Z go? How far is it? Is it like 25 and under?
It's 2003, I believe, or 1997, one of the two.
Yeah.
But it's until 2013.
That's the one. Okay. I mean, as far as, the 1997 part, and all those that are adults now, myself included, I feel like, where it depends. There's just a lot of different ways you can go. Obviously, right now, no matter who you are, you're just got out of high school and you're trying to figure out you're trying to grow out your legs. You're really just trying to get a job going, or you're trying to go to college, trade school, get that established. And so most people will say, people like our age will say, well, I don't have time to learn about that kind of stuff. I'm too busy doing, Clash Royale and trying to hang out with this one chick that won't ever answer me. And it's like, dude, like, there is some serious crap going on. And
crazy.
you can't just say, I'm not into politics when the world's on fire.
I agree.
You know,
Wow.
don't have to pull on a side. You don't have to make a side, but you should probably know, wow, you know, there's this murder just happened in proximity to me by, 5 miles. Wow.
Yeah.
I'll be careful.
You should know about that.
You need to know things.
One of the biggest things I stand on personally is everybody should know a little about everything. Yeah. Everything. You should be an educated, well-rounded person. If you're not,
agreed, that's
honestly idiotic, in my opinion. It's kind of insane. I don't sure, politics may not be your thing, sports may not be your thing. That's awesome. You should know who LeBron James is. You should know who Tom Brady is, right? You should just know these things. In the same way, you should know, okay, if Donald Trump's president, how does this affect my life in the grand scheme of things? If Joe Biden or Kamala Harris were president, how does this affect my life in the grand scheme of things? You should know a little about everything. And for people that are just like, oh, I don't care, politics means nothing to me, I just think that's really dumb. For example, and I'm not going to name drop anybody, Charlie Kirk got assassinated almost over a month ago now.
Right up.
And I sent it into a group chat that we have. And some people were just like, who's Charlie Kirk? What's Charlie Kirk? And I'm like, you don't have to listen to Charlie Kirk every day. Like, you don't have to be a super fan of his. But you should know probably who Charlie Kirk was, since he was one of the biggest political figures of our time. Yeah. And I was like, you should just know who he is, kind of the same way you should know who, like, a Martin Luther King is, or like a J.D. Vance is. You should know who these people are. And that's one of the biggest things that I personally stand on. I can't stand when people just are apathetic about anything, whether that's like their religion. When people say, "Oh, yeah, I believe in God, but it doesn't matter that much. Like, I'm saved." Right. No, like you have to. Grace isn't opposed to effort; it's opposed to earning. Yes, but you have to put in the effort still. It still calls you to do his commandments. So I'm sorry that I just went on a tangent, but it's just like
rightful one.
It's one of the biggest things I say, and it's common sense to me, which is you should want to be educated in every single facet. You want to know as much as you can, yes. I mean, obviously, no one has the ability to know everything. No. But you want to be as educated on everything as you possibly can. Yeah. I mean, do you agree with that?
Certainly. I think a lot of it plays into where you come from and who you are. And mainly where you come from and what kind of family you come from. If you're someone that comes from parents with lots of money and a nice little business for you to inherit right out of college with a business degree, then really don't have to know a lot. You just have to know a couple of things. Your general knowledge, it is important. I do believe it's totally normal, and I don't think humanities should be forced to learn anything like that. But I do believe that it would be nice if everyone did. Yeah,
I think it'd just be better for society as a whole if everyone was a well-rounded individual in every facet that it could be.
And on the contrary, I think people in general just need to shut up. I think people need to just admit that they don't know anything about what they're talking about. I don't care if you do know a little bit about everything or a lot about one thing, but say it. Quit pretending you're someone you're not. I hear a lot of times people are like, "Oh, this guy's so smart. He's really smart," and I'm like, "Okay." He's really, really smart, and I'm like, "Okay." Well, what's he doing right now? He's trying to major in philosophy and to work for his dad. I'm like, "Okay," and is he gonna try to do something after? I mean, if you're saying you're describing this guy like he's Elon Musk, man, and he's like, "No, he really has no plan and." Doesn't really, show that he's smart, but he is. And I'm like, you just describe that's like saying anybody's smart and just not doing anything. I mean, faith without works is dead. I mean, if you have the right answer and you know the right thing to do, but you don't do it, it's just as bad. And I think there's a lot of people that think just because you know what the right thing is, that's all there is to it. But it's clearly everything you do is a relationship, whether it's your religion or your exercise or routine is if you can do it out of love for it and joy, then you're going to get better at it. So yeah,
I like that answer a lot. Kind of just moving into our last topic here. It's kind of about how people just don't trust anything. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of conspiracies that fly around. Like you think of, especially the last few years, you have COVID, you had, I mean, you go a little further back, you have 9/11 now. That's what's becoming a bit. The moon landing. I mean, there's a million conspiracies.
Even further back, MK Ultra, Bohemian Grove.
I didn't mean to get you on a tangent, but yeah, you're
Mhm.
right. I mean, there's so many out there. Why do you think that in today's world, because it's becoming so much more prevalent today, that we stop trusting the government, big corporations, doctors, even like, why do you think we stop trusting people?
Well, I think COVID really screwed the government up for a while.
Okay.
I think they got some repentance or something they got to figure out with us. Alex Jones, who's a man I greatly admire, but don't love him completely. I think on the record, don't support everything he's ever done, just a lot of them. But just said that there was an interview with him and Joe Rogan, 2020 October, and he's just saying, and Joe's like, "Well, what do you think we should do, Alex?" And he's like, "For the COVID?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I mean, I just think we need to understand that this idea of us locking society up is complete bullcrap. I mean, we should be going outside, getting vitamins and taking like a pharmaceutical or something." I think a lot of people got COVID. It was old people, not just because they're old, but it was because of vitamin D and C. Staying inside, not getting a lot of that was weakening them. And I'm straight up going to say, I mean, I have a decent memory, and what COVID did for me, it was old people who had complete normal educations their whole lives, never was stopped schooling, public educations for a bunch of students who had no control over it and were the least affected. So it'd be one thing if we were the biggest subject, then yeah. But I believe that a lot of people are saying, "Oh, wear your mask because you don't want to get the old people sick." Well, then the old people stay in your house, dude. Like, I'm sorry, but if I got to go get groceries, I'm going to go get groceries. And if I don't wear my mask, I mean, that's the best part about being an American is I can die at the age of 30 from COVID, and that's totally chill. I mean,
That illustrates my point really well.
Okay, good. I was about to say that was not common sense.
No, I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
So my mother is a doctor or actually really well-respected doctor. And she had done a lot of research on COVID and masks and the vaccine even. She is vaccinated for COVID. And she was like, I wish I didn't get that vaccine. She was like, what it's doing to athletes, what it's doing to people around the world, it's actually hurting people more than it's helping. And then she was like, masks, unless you're wearing a DHEC MD40 mask, it literally does no effect on you. She was like, so there's really no point. Like she's not a conspiracy theorist. She's a highly educated individual that did her research on viral diseases as a doctor. And I was like, okay, so why is all this happening? I asked her. She was like, well, honestly, she was like, it could just be the government trying to take control, see how far they can push control onto our lives. And I was just like, wow, maybe that's why people nowadays, especially our generation, we don't trust the government. Back then it was like Lyndon B. Johnson was the first person to lie to the people about, I'm not going to go into Vietnam. I won't do it. And then he does. And then now it's like COVID is the worst thing. And yes, it did it did kill a lot of people. And those need to be like taken into account for. And I'm not saying COVID was nothing, because it wasn't. COVID was a big deal.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm not trying to interrupt.
No, you're good.
But when it comes to deaths, if you had the flu and then had the COVID at the same time, and maybe COVID left, I mean, there's not a camera for the whole world to see, oh, this 88-year-old man died of the flu, had COVID for 2 weeks, and then he was free of COVID, and then the flu. No, most of the people that died were old people. And the problem is when you die, most people aren't really doctors unless they're doctors. So it's really rare you just have a doctor in your family. I mean, it's really hard to do.
Yeah.
So you can write, oh yeah, this person died of COVID, and it's really hard for people to check that. Really know.
She was one of the big factors. She was like, I had one. She's a patient who did die. He had COVID. He was hospitalized, but then he got septic, I believe it's called septic. It's like an infection in the hospital, and he died from that, and they counted it as a COVID death.
Oh wow!
And she was like, well, that didn't make any sense. I mean, there's so many conspiracies. Right. She tested a COVID test, not a Mayo Clinic one, but a rapid COVID test, because the Mayo Clinic doesn't make mistakes. She tested a Coke bottle,
Okay.
it came back positive for COVID.
Wow.
So she was like, how does this make any sense at all?
Right.
She was like, I mean, she was essentially saying something really weird is going on here,
Right.
and something's up, something's got to change because this is not normal.
Yeah.
And I think that there's definitely a lot of better ways we could have gone about that. The whole COVID thing, I think 1 year for a vaccine is not enough time to create a vaccine.
Yeah.
But just as a whole, do you think that COVID was the final straw of us trusting or not trusting in like government, big corporations, big pharma, doctors? Like, do you think that was the final last straw?
Well, you got to think we're only going to last for about 70 more years. So, no, I don't think that at all. Anything's possible. I think the government could totally try to whip up something like that, whether it be 50 years, 30 years, or
What do you think they could
whatever.
win back our trust then? If we're not gonna, if this isn't the last thing that will make us stop trusting the government, do you think they can win our trust back? Because it doesn't seem
Right.
that people are truly trusting like the government. Oh my gosh, yes, big government, I'm for it.
Right.
What the government said is right. They have the best in mind for the people. It doesn't seem like they're
Yeah.
saying that all the time.
Young people definitely believe that. Or
Think so?
no, they don't believe what
Yeah.
you just. A lot of old people do.
Yeah.
A lot of old people do. A lot of. Just talked about it with a friend of mine, but made a great point. Because we've had a phone and because we've had access, movies,
Yeah.
shows, college, which forget the college part, but we've been encouraged to, especially now, it's like, hey, do you know that guy? I mean, just if you know that guy, it's like you have some aura or something. That wasn't a thing back, 40 years ago. Do you know that guy? Do you know that guy? And it's like, no, I mean, it's a privilege to know me, dude, whatever.
Yeah.
When our grandparents are coming around, unless you live in a city, you're just going off of whatever you do from the handful of people go to church, whatever, your group. I mean, that's it. And my grandma just told me, a week ago, and saying like a retired sheriff is in her Sunday Bible school class and said that the guy that killed Charlie Kirk with a gun, they're saying, they said that if it was really the rifle, they said his whole head would have exploded. And isn't that wild? Isn't that crazy? Why would the government ever lie to us? And the point isn't as if that's true or not. The point is she completely believed that guy.
Yeah.
Completely
Super
believed
trusting.
him. Yeah, and that's a lot of that generation. It's not. It's not my grandma thing. It really is a lot of that generation. Oh yes. Oh, well, you would never. That's just wild. And you settle down. You have a lot more time, and you're not really working as much. And unfortunately, those people also have all the money. So it creates this system that's a big separation from us and them. So they're unless they're ultimately threatened, I don't think they're going to mind about the government too much.
Yeah.
But
Do you think you're kind of talking about what it seemed like skepticism,
yeah,
at least for our generation?
Mhm.
Do you think that skepticism is a good thing or a bad thing? Or do you think that it can be a good thing or it can be do you think like there's a balance or like it's really good or really bad?
Skeptic just thinking like consciousness, like question authority.
Yeah.
Skepticism, absolutely. It's an absolute must.
It's a must.
Absolute must. Yeah, it's an absolute must. I mean, dude, think about not even 100 years ago. If you're an average German civilian,
Yeah.
there's a lot of German soldiers. If you weren't working at the concentration camps, a lot of German soldiers had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
And this is literally going to sound really funny, but it's not. I mean, it is going to. It's just funny. But if I was poor as crap and was literally using dollar bills for toilet paper, and all of a sudden a guy comes in and he's an amazing motivational speaker, and he's like, "Listen, Germany's going to come back on top. We're going to take over, and we're going to, get revenge on those that wronged us," because that's what he did. That's what he said. And then everyone was like, "Heck yeah, dude. Yeah. Hard times create strong people," or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "And we're gonna, conquer the world, and we're gonna have money again." I'm like, "Yeah." And then he just says, "And we're gonna kill the Jews." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" And so some people were like, "Oh, wait, what?" And then obviously there was already people who already had his side and thought that way as well. Like, yeah, they're behind everything, whatever. But you get all this personal joy and all these personal good things come to you, while bad things happen to people you don't know about, and you can literally say, "Well, I don't know if that's true. I mean, gosh, what he's been saying has been so good for me. How can it be wrong for someone else?" It doesn't make any sense. I mean,
Yeah.
it's things like that, such evil things that we can't even wrap our minds around because we think in our little circles and bubbles that all humans think the same way we do, and we can't even fathom the evil that's happened in the world. So the skepticism is a must.
It's a must.
It's insane. I mean, if we go, God forbid it, World War III happens in like 2027, if China invades Taiwan and there's so many alliances and we start to get in this Vietnam race again and try to think, oh, well, let's, go to Taiwan and Australia has a really good Navy. So if we just start to stop the threat of communism, and if we just are all for going all over again, it's, you gotta think, okay, wait, like, what's my stance on this?
Need to be knowledgeable. And I think, just kind of wrapping it up, I think that people are just so desperate to find like a truth that will come up with any, like on one side it's like we'll come up with anything like to make like some crazy conspiracy theorists will come up with anything to
Eddie Bravo
find some sort of solution to a problem that happened, even if it's just a tragedy. On the other side, it's people that, oh my gosh, yes, I don't want to think about it at all. You're right.
Yeah, those people piss me off. I want to punch them in the face. Those people are like literally the worst people ever. Like, dude, what are you even doing? Like, are you even real? Make sure, like, slap yourself in the face. Like, oh, I just don't want to. It's like, it's not really common sense-esque. I love everybody, but like,
no, I get what you're saying.
Come on.
It definitely does make you like, really, like question, like really, like why are you doing this?
Yeah.
If you were to tell, or if one person came up to you and they were super trusting of everything or just not trusting, like what would you tell them, like how to like what would your suggestion be to their mindset to switch to a more like, yes, I'm gonna question authority, I'm not gonna be rebellious against authority, but I'm gonna question it and be like, what is going on? And then to find your answers, asking a why. What advice would you give?
The best advice would be, dude, if you're someone that is really trustworthy, is that what you're saying?
Well, if someone were to be like, I am so trustworthy of the government, the government is right, like they're going to be correct. If you're just talking to an older lady or an older gentleman, what would you say to them on why they should be a little bit more skeptic and question authority a little bit more?
Golly, I'd be freaking blessed as balls if they'd even listen to me. I'm 19 years old and I have barely an education so far, so.
Yeah, if they were.
But if they were, I'd just say something to the effect of, history is written by its victors, and I'm a firm believer in that. Think about like when you're a kid and you're 5 years old, or probably not you in general. I'd say just, you ever meet that random kid and he's just like, why is the sky blue? How far are we from the moon? You're like, gosh, shut up. You're asking all these hard questions. I don't know. Well, what does the parents tell them if they're of average intelligence? They say, okay, Jimmy, the moon's far. The sky's blue because God made it blue. He's like, oh, okay. And, he just believes them. He shuts up. It's a lot like the government for us. So when we ask those big, fat questions and there's something going on maybe behind the scenes, aka JFK's assassination, MK Ultra, which was like a bunch of mind control, illegal CIA things that was going on. We'll get into that some other century. It's very important. The government has a right to, I don't like it all the time, but I have to admit it's a blessing that the government, keeps some things in its chambers. And a lot of the secrets aren't really sexy. It's something like, they'll be like, the movies also make it seem like if the government says, well, that's disclosed information, that's private, then the movies are like, oh, what are they hiding? When really it's just like, January 1941, this girl named Sally said she saw a UFO and it never happened. It's like something actually boring.
Yeah.
But it's definitely good that they don't tell. Like, what if everything the government's ever done, they just unleashed it one day?
Yeah.
All civilians would be chaotic because it's. If I knew everything about you, I would never come on this show. If you knew everything about me, you would never invite me. We're all sinners. We've all done crazy things and thought crazy things.
Yeah.
It's
true. But yeah, we definitely need to just have the ability to question government. Maybe not to, or question anything when it comes to it. Just be able to question, have reasonable thinking, have critical thinking. I think that's one of the most important things in today's world. But Rhett, I just want to thank you so much for coming on today. I really enjoyed our conversation as a whole. I thought it was really cool, really, really interesting, honestly, definitely a very different vibe than what we've had, which is what I wanted. Honestly, I want to mix it up a little bit, and you were the perfect person for that. If you're interested in finding Rhett, his podcast, The Primal Chronicles, you can find him on Instagram and YouTube and among other platforms. We'll definitely tag him down below. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Paul Cobin Show. Next episode will be next Sunday at 2 p.m. God bless you. Thank you.